Good morning, it's November 15th. This is To My Liberal Friends. Remember when the media pounced on Trump for his comment that he would be a dictator? Of course, they left off the rest of the sentence where he said on the first day. Well, let's go and look back. President Biden issued an almost unprecedented number of executive orders in his first few days and months in office, taking unilateral action on a number of regulatory policy fronts, rescinding Trump orders, and directing agencies to overturn Trump regulations. Did the media call Biden a dictator for his actions? Of course not, because they're in the tank for any Democratic president, and they cheered him on. They expect Trump to follow suit in 2025. He's likely to reverse most of Biden's executive orders, including those addressing energy and climate policies, immigration, AI, and regulatory procedures. And that will come all early in the administration. Now, Trump has promised on day one to sign an executive order directing every federal agency to immediately remove every single burdensome regulation driving up the cost of goods. Executive orders can only bind the executive, so Trump will have to use them carefully to avoid the fate of Biden's actions on immigration, student loan forgiveness, and vaccine mandates. Placing someone like Susie Wiles as the White House Chief of Staff was a brilliant move, in my opinion. Her history tells you that she is someone that shuns the limelight but gets things done. A smart woman surrounding Trump. Take that, Mark Cuban. On January 2025, expect the incoming Chief of Staff, Susie Wiles, to follow the practice of her recent predecessors and send a memorandum to all departments and agencies, directing them immediately to refrain from pursuing regulatory actions until the new team has a chance to review them. Now, that memo would literally stop the presses on executive agency regulations, and the new administration may even have someone waiting at the Office of the Federal Register at noon of that day to pull back any regulations submitted by the outgoing Biden administration that have not yet been published. She will do this because Biden administrative people and the bureaucracy are going to try to rush to move things through the next 2 months. So what else can we expect from Donald Trump's second term in the first few days to 2 months? Right out of the box, he's going to tackle the immigration issue. There are news reports that the smugglers are telling immigrants they have to get across the border before Trump takes office. The Trump campaign press secretary, Caroline Leavitt, told a Sunday news show, quote, "We know he promised to sign an executive order to secure the southern border." She also went on to say, quote, "We know that on day one, he's going to launch the largest mass deportation of illegal immigrants in American history," end quote. I'm not sure how that's all going to work, but they're going to try. In the weeks since his re-election, Trump has prioritized filling leadership positions that would oversee immigration, suggesting he's preparing to tackle his plans for border policy early. He tapped veteran immigration official Tom Homan as his border czar, selected South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem to oversee Homeland Security, and appointed Stephen Miller at White House Deputy Chief of Staff for Policy. Steve Miller is best known for shaping some of Trump's most restrictive policies on illegal immigration during his first term. Trump would also re-implement his Remain in Mexico policy that required asylum seekers to wait in Mexico while claims are processed. He's going to have to work with the Mexican government on that one, though. Look at some other things. Trump will more than likely take steps to withdraw the U.S. from the Paris Climate Accords. He did that in 2016. And media reports suggest that his team is preparing orders to withdraw once again when he takes office in January. Leaving the agreement would mean the U.S. is no longer beholden to meeting set carbon emission reductions. He's doing this because countries like Russia, China, and India ignore them. Among other priorities at odds with the Paris standards, Trump has said he wants to prioritize U.S. production of oil and gas. He promised to quickly expedite permitting and fracking, where drilling has been one of his regular comments on the campaign trail. And I suspect you'll see Trump ending some of the EV mandates the Biden administration put in place. On the campaign trail, Trump said he would end the war in Ukraine in a day. He has repeatedly criticized the U.S. government's continued support of Ukraine, casting the war as a drain on resources. I'm not fully in agreement with him, but something has to be done. He's not yet given specifics on how he would negotiate the war's end, saying he would help the two countries strike a deal. Since his re-election, Trump has spoken to Ukrainian President Zelensky in a call that lasted about half an hour, and billionaire Elon Musk was on the call. I don't know why, but he was. And a source told the news it was really not a conversation to talk about very substantial things. The Kremlin denied that Trump had a call with Vladimir Putin, although media reports said Trump warned the Russian president against escalating the war in Ukraine. Now, the economy is an issue that Trump heavily campaigned on, vowing to end inflation as soon as he takes office. Quote, "We will target everything from car affordability to housing affordability to insurance costs to supply chain issues." I will instruct my cabinet and I expect results within the first 100 days or much sooner than that, end quote. That's a pretty bold statement. And he said he would sign an executive order that directs every cabinet secretary and agency to use every tool and authority at their disposal to defeat inflation and bring consumer prices down. Trump's plan includes imposing tariffs on imported goods, especially those coming in from China, arguing that these taxes will keep manufacturing jobs in the U.S. He's also vowed to target Mexico with his tariffs. Quote, I'm going to inform the Mexican president on day one or sooner that if they don't stop this onslaught of criminals and drugs coming into our country, I'm going to immediately impose a 25% tariff on everything they send to the U.S. Well, that's going to get the Mexican president's attention. These are some of the things he could do on his first day, first couple of weeks. They're all executive orders, similar to other presidents, and no, it does not make him a dictator. It makes him president of the United States. This has been To My Liberal Friends. Thanks for listening.